What if I told you everything you know about yourself, your job, your relationships, your entire life isn't real? Not in the way you think, at least. You might feel like you're in control, like you understand the world around you. But according to Plato, one of the greatest philosophers in history, you're actually just watching shadows on a wall, believing they're real. Sounds crazy, right? But once you hear what he meant, you'll start questioning everything. All right, picture this. You've been trapped in a dark cave since birth. Not for a day, not for a year, your entire life. You've never seen the outside world. You're chained in place, unable to turn your head, forced to stare at a blank wall. Behind you, a flickering fire, and between you and that fire, people carrying objects, figures of animals, trees, and things you don't even have names for. But here's the catch. You can't see the fire. You can't see the real objects. All you see are shadows, dim, distorted figures cast onto the wall in front of you. They move, they shift, they change, and because that's all you've ever known, you believe those shadows are reality. Now, what if I told you, you're living in that cave right now, and now if this is all you've ever known, wouldn't you believe the shadows are real? That they're the true nature of the world? Of course, you would. And that's exactly what Plato was trying to tell us. Well, congratulations, you're living in that cave right now. This is Plato's Allegory of the Cave, one of the most powerful and unsettling metaphors in philosophy. And it's not just about some ancient prisoners, it's about you, me, and everyone you know. Plato wasn't just talking about a literal cave, he believed that the world we experience, the one full of people, objects, emotions, isn't true reality. Yeah, it's just a distorted, shallow version of something deeper, something beyond what our senses can perceive. Think about a triangle. You can draw one, right? But no matter how precise you are, it'll never be perfect. The lines will always be slightly off. The angles will never be exactly 60 degrees each, but in your mind, you can imagine a flawless triangle, one that exists in its perfect form. Plato says that's how everything works. Every chair, every tree, every human being, what we see are just flawed copies of their perfect, eternal forms. There is a world beyond our senses where things exist in their purest, most real form. But we're stuck seeing the shadows, the imperfect, ever-changing reflections of something greater. And that raises the ultimate question. If everything around us is just a lesser version of reality, how do we escape the illusion? How do we see the world for what it truly is? Plato's answer? Philosophy. Because only through deep thinking, questioning, and reasoning can we break free from the cave and step into the light. He believed that only through deep thinking, questioning, and reasoning can we break free from the cave and step into the light. But here's the problem. If you've spent your entire life in that cave and suddenly someone drags you outside into the real world, what happens? So your eyes burn. The sunlight is overwhelming. The real world is too much, too fast. You feel lost, disoriented, maybe even afraid. And in that moment, all you want is to run back to the cave, back to the comfort of the shadows, because that's what's familiar. Sound familiar? Ever questioned the beliefs you grew up with? Ever had a moment where you realized something you always believed was completely wrong? Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It feels like everything you knew is crumbling. But once your eyes adjust, you see everything differently, and after that, there's no going back. Now, before you think this is just some ancient thought experiment, let's bring it to right now. Look at the world around you. We live in a time where social media, news, and advertisements control what we see. We watch carefully curated highlight reels of people's lives and think that's reality. We accept whatever information is handed to us without questioning what's behind it. But is it real? Or are we just watching shadows on the wall? Plato's challenge is simple. Don't settle for shadows. Question everything. Seek truth beyond what's given to you, because only then do you escape the cave and finally see the world for what it really is. So, are you ready to wake up, or are you still staring at the wall?